Good morning. Good morning. We will be introducing our dad, Dr. Rayshawn Ray. My name is Rayshawn Ray.
And my name is Jeremiah Ray.
Rayshawn Ray is Vice President and Executive Director of the AIR Equity Initiative at the American Institute for Research, which is a $220 million fund to provide research grants to reduce inequality by race in local communities.
Our dad is a professor at the University of Maryland and a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute. Our dad's research addresses racial and social inequity. He testifies at the federal and state levels on racial equity, policy and criminal justice reform, health policy, wealth disparities, and family policies.
As the founding executive director of the Lab for Applied Social Science Research, LASSR, Ray helped develop a virtual reality training program for law enforcement and led implicit bias trainings with thousands of police officers, military personnel, and employees at companies and organizations.
Our dad has published over 50 books, articles, and book chapters, and he has over 50 op-eds. He has written for Washington Post, New York Times, and USA Today. He has appeared on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, and NPR. Ray has published 3 books, one that has been used over 40 times in college classes.
Ray serves on White House and state level boards. He is even on a board with Meta. Ray was recently awarded an Andrew Carnegie Fellowship for extraordinary.
Ray obtained his PhD and master's degree in sociology from Indiana University and his bachelor's in sociology from the University of Indiana.
This is all good, but as his sons, we want to each tell you 3 things about our dad you probably don't know. First, he is reliable and someone you can count on when you need advice for work. He is dedicated towards his work and puts God before anything else he does. He also likes tennis shoes and he matches tennis shoes, especially for women.
For me, one thing I bet you guys didn't know about him is that he lived in Germany to teach at a university. 2, he likes watching scary and mystery shows and movies with me, his favorite son, obviously. He is caring, and when he goes to work, he brings back our favorite ice cream.
That's it. Thank you for listening.
I think I can go home now. Between that and Brother Reagan, goodness sakes, give it up for Jesus. And also cat choreography. We have, I think, some videographers here so we can get, I think, some good footage. Look, it's just great to be with you all this morning. This is always an honor and a privilege, particularly on Youth Day. And of course, there's no one other to give it up to than Steve Bingham. Woo! Woo! I don't have to say much else about Steve after that. I mean, obviously, a lot of us are here because of him. I'm here because of him. And I just continue to be appreciative. And when Steve tells you to do something and be somewhere, you mean it. Look, I mean, to my boys, you all are great. They made straight A's. They had a sports banquet last week, and I mean, they simply racked up. RJ won, I think, MVP for track, and offensive player for flag football. But the ones that I'm really proud of is RJ got the Gold Standard Award, which was given to student athletes who play at least 3 sports. He plays basketball as well, and the coaches award for that. And also had straight A's. And so he was one of the 5 that got that. And then Jeremiah got the Inspiration Award, which was an award given specifically by the coaches across all sports to the student athlete who was most inspiring. And of course, if people know Jeremiah's story and what he's been through and how tough and how strong he is, you understand why that award was simply made for him, which was the first year that he gave it. And then he also won Vice President of National Junior Honor Society. He also makes straight A's, so give it up for Jeremiah. I continue to be proud to be your dad. I continue to be proud to be married to your mom, which will be 17 years next Sunday. She was also in Murfreesboro. She went to Oakland. I went to Riverdale, but we're going to leave that alone. We got 2 extra schools here now in Murfreesboro. And to my boys specifically, and then I'm going to get to talking to the youth, and I think all of you all here. You all are nice people, and you make good decisions. And you also think about how to make a difference in the world. Stay that way. Stay that way. Do not let the world steal your niceness, your authenticity, and your creativity. Because for those of us who are older, you know the world will try to take all of it. So keep being yourself. It's an honor to be your dad. Now look, obviously I can stand up here and talk about racism, sexism, classism, and potentially policy solutions to these societal ills. That's what I do for a living, right? But today, I actually want to talk to you about what you can do, what you can control. For all the youth in here who came up, it was great to see all of you all up here, including not just the youth, but young adults who are currently in college doing your thing. I continue to be proud of that. You all are really inspiring for that. I want you all to say a word for me. I want you all to say self-reliance. Self-reliance. Self-reliance is when you actually rely on your own abilities and resources to control your outcomes. You have the ability to be self-reliant. I could talk about the systemic and structural barriers that will inhibit you, and that's part of what I do, and then I think about policies that will solve that, but I really want to talk to you about that self-reliance part. So I'm going to talk to you about strategies that you can use to circumvent inequalities and struggles of life. Look, y'all, I'm Murfreesboro native. Like, it is just so great to be here. And there are so many people here who have made me. No matter how big, no matter how small, coming to Allen Chapel with Steve to sing in the Riverdale Gospel Ensemble, being like right over there, I believe it used to be like the choir stand was over there. Chrissy would be here playing and other people would be here. And so I vividly remember those details. And I remember a couple of things. First thing, I would always be with Steve because being with Steve meant I wasn't getting in trouble, right? Second thing was I was always inspired by what people did outside of work. How you made yourself happy, how you made other people happy. So what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to give you all 11 points. 11 commandments of success. 11 commandments of success. Ways to change your life and take control of your destiny. One thing that people always ask me is how I do it. They say that for some reason, me and my wife, we make life look easy. And in my mind, I'm always thinking, no, it's anything but that. Because we work really, really hard. But what I have done is I put in place a system of success that I actually want to share, what I want to share. Part of this system is this self-reliance that I was talking about. Part of it is grit. Part of it is my upbringing that you all have instilled in me being from Murfreesboro. As most people know, I come from a single-parent household. Mama, raise your hand. I would not be here without my mama. She was 19. She had been admitted to West Point, y'all. This was like the late 70s. A black woman being admitted to West Point. She decided to get out of being enlisted, to join the reserves, to actually raise me. Put herself through nursing school, worked 3 jobs. She said, all you got to do is make A's. I said, that's a pretty fair trade. Like, I can sit up here, working these jobs, putting yourself through nursing school. And of course, my grandparents, my aunt, my uncles, all these people who have been in my life. And so accordingly, I've never seen my biological father before. My mom and I were moved 14 times for my 18th birthday. When we were living in Atlanta, I was bused, so I was part of that particular program. I would get on my bus with all black kids. I'd be bused to a community center. All the buses would be in the square. They would blow a horn. I would get off my bus, get on another bus, and I would be on another bus with a really diverse group of kids. White, Asian, Latino, black, being bused to a better school. Because why? Because supposedly I made good grades and I tested well. But there were kids in my neighborhood who were just as smart, if not smarter than me, who simply did not have those opportunities or potentially didn't have a mom who taught them how to ride 2 buses to get home so you could go to that better school and also do the sort of things that you needed to do, sacrificing what she was doing for me to actually be here. And look, part of what you all did as students standing up here is something that's extremely, extremely important. I can say without a doubt, emphatically, that academic success has been the root of everything that I have accomplished. because no one can take what is in your mind. People can take a lot of things from you. But one of the reasons why I wanted to get a PhD is because I was like, I just want to get the highest degree. Because if people can't take what is in your mind, then I want to just go ahead and do that. And actually chart my own path. When I looked at it, only about 5 to 10% of the population had a PhD, and only about 1% of black people had it. I was like, okay, so that means that's putting me in a realm where I will actually be able to be self-reliant and control my outcomes because I have a skill set that no one else is actually going to have. So academic success is extremely important. And for the black men that were noted up here, that's extremely important for you all because you're entering into an era where black men are overrepresented in the top 20 occupations that are predicted not to be around in 10 years. And you are underrepresented in the 20 fastest growing occupations. And the fastest growing occupations are in tech, health, and education. Those are amazing jobs. Being a teacher, an amazing job, right? It's something about social media right now. There seems to be this attack on not only black families, but also on education, also on building wealth through home ownership. I'm like, what the heck? So somebody told me that people dropped podcasting off in the hood like they did crack cocaine. I kind of thought about that analogy. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Where I've been listening to amateur podcasters who are trying to give us a message that actually doesn't fit what's going on in society, right? You got to actually watch what you're listening to. And I think social media is an amazing thing. Like for all the youth, like I'm verified on all the platforms. Like I can talk to you about that. I'm down for that. But part of thinking about that is I want to share this system of success when we start talking about education. Number one, here goes the 11th commandment. Number one, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. If your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. And you are never too old to stop dreaming, even though people who are older will tell you that as you get older, you start having more nightmares because you're just thinking about how hard life is. Society will steal that from you. I dream a lot. I try to have good dreams. So if your dreams for what you can be in life don't scare you, they aren't big enough. But it doesn't stop there. See, I stalk my dreams. I can visualize them. I can picture them. And then I can actually see them in the future. I wanted to purchase my first house when I was 25. I purchased it at 24. I wanted to attain my PhD at 30. I did it at 29. I wanted to be a full professor, meaning going from assistant to associate in full professor ranks at a university, at a top university by 40. I did it at 39. See, all of these dreams scare me though, because that's what should happen. Your dreams should actually scare you. They were daunting. They were hard, but they were worth it. Whatever you see at your age, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever pops in your head, can be things that you can actually make a reality. So indulge with me for a second. Close your eyes. Let's do a dream building exercise. I want everybody to close your eyes. And I want you to just think about what makes you happy. What has popped in your head? What makes you happy? Where are you at? Who's around you? And then I want you to picture in your head what your life looks like in 5 years. What it looks like in 10 years. Particularly for the youth. If you're 12, 13 years old like my boys, in 5 years, in 10 years, when they're 22 and 23, where are you at? Where are you living? What are you doing? Where did you graduate from? What are you doing for a living? What are you driving? Where are you living at? Are you out in the suburbs? Are you out in the country? Are you like my youngest son who's like, I'm going to live off the grid and I'm going to build a farm and put a whole bunch of animals there and let people come there and actually come and watch these animals and play with them. That's a huge dream. And you know what? We're going to make it happen if that's really what he wants to do. So think about what your dream is. And now I want you to open your eyes. And whatever just popped in your head, even if it was for a sliver, your mind has probably socialized you to take it out of your mind because it scares you about what that actually looks like. Maybe it's a degree you want to obtain. Maybe it's a new house you want to purchase. Maybe it's a degree you want to go back and get because you didn't finish. Because for everybody in here, it's never too late. I got 2 friends who just finished their bachelor's degrees into their 40s, and we celebrated those degrees like we did when we were 22 and 23. Because it's never too late. And you have to make your own path in what you're doing. So you're never too old to dream. So when you get home, or even on your phone now, write down what that dream was at the top of your head. Put it up everywhere. Make it a reality. How do you do that? Number 2, find your passion and then find how to get paid for it. See, probably whatever popped in your head is something that you actually want to do for a living. But it probably scares you because you might not know a lot of people who actually make money doing it. Because you're like, all right, this thing just popped in my head. I want to create video games. And I play video games, but I want to create them. But I'm not sure really what that looks like. Well, the thing that I've realized, if you're good at something, people will pay you for it. If you are good at something, people will pay you for it. And the other thing I've realized that if you spend about 20 minutes a day on something, at the end of that year, that will be over 100 hours, and you will be 95% better than anyone else on the planet at that thing. It actually doesn't take a long time. It's the beginning of the summer. If you want to do something, then you could actually commit to it this summer. And in 90 days, your entire life has changed. You have to commit to it, whatever that goal might be. Why? Because your gift will make room for you. Your gift will make room for you. Everything that you envision that you can be in life, you are able to accomplish, and you can do it. And you don't just have to do one thing. You have a lifetime to do stuff. Use it, embrace it. Embrace these lifetime of changes. You can actually have your cake and eat it too. Doesn't always mean you get the cake and the other stuff at the same time. Like you might have to work for that along the continuum, but you can do that. Third commandment. Don't just chase your dreams, go catch them. See, people always talk about chasing your dreams. And I thought about that, and I was like, chasing my dreams? How long do I have to chase them? Like, do you ever get them? Like, at what point do you get them? You hear people all the time talking about dreams, and they always chasing them. And for me, I was like, I don't want to wait that long, because I'm impatient. So how quickly can I catch them? How quickly can I create new dreams? Let me tell you what I do. I goal set. I set goals for everything. I set goals for this particular speech today. I set goals for when I wake up. I set goals for what I'm going to do each day. I set goals for each year. I set goals 5 years out. I set goals 10 years out. One thing MLK told us, you might not always be able to see to the end of the bridge because there might be clouds there, but you can at least see your next step. So sometimes I might not be able to fully visualize what the next 10 years look like, but I know what the next 6 months look like. I know what the next 18 months look like. And the thing that I realize is most people are not willing to pay that sacrifice because their dreams scare them. So you have to set life goals, decade goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals, and hourly goals. Put up a whiteboard at your crib, or take your phone and use the note feature. Put those goals in there. That's what I do. All of that stuff is in my phone. The other thing you want to do is you want to build what I call the council. This is a personal and a professional council. Each council has 5 people, so that you won't ever have a tie. So for me, my personal council includes like my wife, my grandma, my mom, my aunt, right? My godfather. My professional council includes people who are in my profession. And when I have to make a big decision, I consult with them because I know they have my best interests at heart. They're not going to steer me wrong. They help me think about things that I might not be thinking about. They help me think about blind spots. And so let me say this. Everyone also can't know your dreams. See, there are different groups of people who would try to steal your dreams from you. See, this is what I talked about society. They would try to take it from you. One group of people, they call scared chickens. Y'all know the people you tell something to, they just get scared for you. It's not even their dream. It's not even what they think. I don't know if you should do that. Like, that sounds a little too scary. Like, they're just scared of everything. You gotta be weary of scared chickens. They will make you scared of something that you wasn't even scared beforehand. Right? You start talking about walking out this door and they're like, oh, it's some hand sanitizer on the table. I don't know if you should walk out there. Like, they're scared of everything. We're weary of them people. The other thing is, there are also people who will just doubt you. They will just doubt you and doubt you and doubt you over and over again. And in the other group, there are haters. Haters gonna hate. Right? Haters gonna hate. And one thing I realize, if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right. Like, how I always know when I'm really in my bag is when the haters come out. That's what I've learned about life. It used to be when I was younger, I'd be like, dang, I thought we were cool, and now like they hating on me. Well, you just elevated, and they were still there, and they don't know how you elevated. They don't know how you got there. That's the thing I realized. Oftentimes people hate because they actually can't even see what you just did. And you sitting up here worrying about these haters when you should be elevating. That's what Michelle Obama say, when they go low, we go high. Elevate. You got to find another group of people who are up there where you want to be. Because they looking down at you like, come on up to the next mountain. Because one thing I know about mountains and going up is you got to bring your tool belt. Because see, at first you start going up the mountain and you just climb. It's just like being on an incline on the treadmill. But then all of a sudden you get to a mountain, and when you get to that next stoop, you get up there, it's kind of like maybe just being up at that level. It's not really high, like you could fall, maybe you hurt yourself a little bit, but you're going to be all right. But then you keep going up to that next mountain cliff, and you get to looking around, and you think you're good. And then you look back up at that mountain, and that mountain gets steeper. that's the mountain you want to keep going to. There are people up there who can help you get it, and you bring that tool belt of the skills you have learned at those other hills and mountains to get to the next one, right? So part of doing that means you're going to have to leave some people at the last stop. You got to leave some people at the last stop. It doesn't mean you don't love them. Doesn't mean they don't love you. But it does mean while somebody is up top trying to reach for you, there's somebody below you pulling on your coattail to hold you back. And it doesn't mean you don't love them, but it means you kind of got to flap that off, because see, if they were actually with you, they will be beside you, not pulling you back. Whenever there's somebody who is pulling you back, it doesn't mean you don't love them, doesn't mean you don't appreciate them, but it does mean you brush them off, you keep going up that mountain, and you know what? They can catch up with you. There's a train beside the mountain that might help them go a little bit faster up there while you're climbing, and they can meet you at the next stop. And so sometimes you got to just realize that some people are in your life for a season. And the thing I've realized as I've gotten older, that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't mean you still don't love them, that you don't appreciate them. It doesn't mean you want to do something for them. It just means it was for a season because you all were doing different things. So you got to watch out for those groups of people. Now, the other thing that I will say, there's this saying about keeping your enemies closer than your friends thing. And I always say that. See, what I'm about to do is kind of debunk some of these things that we say. I don't know about you, I don't really want my enemies around me. Like, I'm just about to keep it a buck. Like, I got enough haters. I don't really want my enemies that close, right? So I'm like, really, like, where they do that at? Now, I definitely want to know kind of what you're doing, but see, when you got big enough haters, they're going to show themselves. Like, they're going to already show you what they're doing. So I don't really want them around, right? And y'all know this stuff, like that ghost meme mug. Like you get something, like the youth was up here and then somebody else looking down. I don't know if y'all watch like Chappelle show, but like Chappelle used to do this thing. He'd be like this thing, he'd look at people when they be hating like it's a meme mug, right? Whenever people do you like that, you gotta watch out like that. Whenever you see a picture, right, and it's a good time for you, and you scanning the people that was at the picture with you, and you see somebody looking like this, that should tell you all you need to know. You up here succeeding, and somebody sitting up here looking like that, right? Comparatively, you see somebody and they just smile. They just happy. That's who you need to be around, because they support you. And the thing I know about growing up, being from Murfreesboro, going to Reeves Rogers, going to Mitchell Nelson, going to Central Middle School, going to Riverdale High School, is that the thing that I realized is that some of the people who I should have had on my team, I didn't think they were cool. I thought they were kind of corny, right? Because I was a smart kid, right? I made good grades, right? I had a 3.7 when I graduated Riverdale. I had a 3.8 when I graduated at Memphis. I had a 3.9 something when I got my PhD. Like, I get the grades thing. But I was also an athlete. And of course, I danced with Craig, Clyde, like we did. Like, I wasn't like them, like they on a different level. But I was out there, you know what I'm saying? Because being Steve had me out there so I wouldn't get in trouble, right? Strive to be excellent at everything you do. If I'm tying up my shoe, I'm trying to tie it better than I did yesterday, right? If I'm on the treadmill, well, I don't run that much anymore. If I'm swimming in the pool, my knees done got bad. If I'm swimming in the pool, I'm trying to swim better than I did yesterday. If I'm writing my next book, I'm trying to make this book better than my last one. See, I really want y'all to hear what I just said. If you notice everything that I said about excellence, it was me competing with me. I didn't say anything about y'all or anybody else. Everything I said was me competing with me. See, sometimes we get caught up competing against other people. And you looking over at them running their race, that's not your race. Which is why they're not in your lane. Run your race. And one thing you realize is the more you run and the harder you run, the road becomes less traveled. There aren't people on your road anymore. So when you look around and you don't see anybody running your race, that's a good thing. That means you have found a lane that is yours. And guess what? People going to pay you to access that lane. But see, if you get to looking around at other people's lanes, if I get to looking at their lanes, now I'm trying to get over here with him, and that's not my lane. And then all of a sudden, I'm losing my ability to be unique. So you have to strive to be excellent. Also, aim to be perfect. Like literally, aim to be perfect. You're going to fall short, but aim to be perfect. If you strive to be mediocre, you're going to be less than that. If you strive to be perfect, you're going to be less than that, but you're going to be a whole lot better than mediocre. One thing my grandma said, raise your hand, grandma. One thing my grandma said, Gladys Williams, y'all know Gladys. One thing she used to win the greens contest, y'all. Like that, she used to win first place in the greens contest. Then my mother-in-law started doing it, and my auntie, like, we got good greens in my house, y'all. We got good greens in my house. See, some of y'all was a little quiet on that. Y'all might have lost him. That's okay. Hey, the greens are good. So one thing my grandma used to tell me is, one thing my grandma used to tell me is strive for the stars. Because when you fail and fall you will at the least land on top of the building that you were once in. See, if you only strive for the ceiling, you can only touch that. Right? Like my kids, particularly my oldest, he trying to touch all the ceilings in our house. You know, when you're a boy, you just jump, you just hit stuff, just be running around with imaginary balls, but it's still adults that be doing that too. Like that kind of annoys me. Like you can't get dirty. Dreaming of imaginary ball, that's all good. That might be your dream. Go get it. But when you do that, strive for the stars. Because every time you fall, you're gonna learn something. I learn more from my failures than I do my wins. And I fail every single day. If I'm not failing, I'm not doing enough. In my profession, it's kind of like playing baseball. You really, really kind of suck at things. What do I mean by this? I write very long research papers. They like 9,000 words. It takes years to write, right? Like I had a paper that was older than my kids at one point in time. That junk was crazy. But then it got published in essentially the top sociology journal. I'm a sociologist. It took 10 years for that, y'all. But it happened. And one thing I know about the failures along the way is that they taught me more than the successes. So in my profession, being 1 out of 3 means you're an all-star, just like playing baseball. You ever notice in baseball you 1 out of 3? Or in basketball you shoot 50%? Like think about 50%. You can't make 50% on any test and pass anything. But all of a sudden in the pros, you shooting like Curry, you 40% for 3 and you're the best 3-point shooter ever. That's only 40%. And that dude was in the gym every single day. So when we think about that, the farther up you get, the more that the margin of error gets small. That's why you really, really got to be perfect and you got to be ready for those types of things. So you got to be consistent. Number 5. Now let's get into it. After you do all that, number 5, you got to find, take back, and keep your righteous mind. Find, take back, and keep your righteous mind. If you have not seen the movie Great Debaters with Denzel Washington, I suggest you make that your Sunday evening movie about a group of debaters from the HBCU who had to go compete against Harvard. They ended up winning based on a true story. But that is one thing that Denzel Washington would say. See, society will take away your mind. So what do you have to do? When it's gone, you have to find it first. You got to find where you left it. You got to find where it moved to. Then you got to figure out how to take it back. You have to reclaim it. And then you have to keep it. And one thing I've always said is I will not let society take my mind. And when you deal with the isms, racism, sexism, homophobia, people gonna call you names because of your skin tone, because of your weight, because of how you talk, because of what you look like, because of where you're from, right? I couldn't tell y'all how many times after I left Murfreesboro, I go to Indiana, like Indiana can talk about what I'm about to say, or California, or Maryland, or even Germany. People say, where you from? You talk different, right? And so then I was able to claim that I'm from Tennessee. Well, really what people were saying is they were like, you country. Right? And you know there's a difference between being country and being southern. See, I ain't got no problem with somebody calling me southern. You call me country, now they got a host of connotations that now I got a problem with because you're stereotyping, right? But that's just how it was. And so you're going to deal with that. You're also going to deal with daily foolish ratchetness. You're going to have people that have you trying to act outside yourself. You're going to have people trying to have you keeping it real too much. That's another Dave Chappelle reference. Like, and for me, it happens all day long. Like in the DC area, people cannot drive, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, y'all like, no, Ray Sean, you ain't been here. I'm telling you, going to Nashville, it's over. No, people drive really well in Tennessee, and I could empirically talk to you all about that, but I ain't going to do that. In the DC area, they're horrible drivers. Somebody will swerve in your lane, somebody will hit you, somebody will bust a U-turn on a 6-lane street with 3 lanes going each way. Like, they just bust a U-turn, they don't even care. And so I'm like, these people gonna have me acting outside myself. And then I think, I'm like, So if I keep honking at these people, I roll up, I do something I ain't supposed to do, flip a bird, whatever, and they get out, and I get out because it's on site. Now all of a sudden, I gotta call my wife and then explain to my boys where I got to fight at a traffic light. That just sounds crazy, right? And so I actually have to think about what I'm doing. So part of what I'm talking about, you have to protect your mental and emotional health because this world will have you dying a slow physical death. You have to protect your mental and emotional health. That means getting in church on a regular basis, not just on Sunday morning, but other times throughout the week as well. Might need counseling for some people, might need some other stuff. right? So you have to take care of your health. Number 6, fail forward. You gotta fail forward. Life oftentimes rewards resilience more than actual awards. I talked about self-reliance. Resiliency is a part of that. You have to be resilient. You have to get back up when you get knocked down. You have to shoot your shot and shoot for the North Star no matter what. I know I told my oldest son, it was one game he had earlier this year, and I was like, how you think this game went? He was like, I'm like, all right, let's get in the lab. So we throw probably 100 balls that night in the house. Just so throwing the football in the house. Next day, he come out, scored 3 touchdowns, interception, like just locked down, shut the game down, won the game for his team. Led to winning offensive MVP for his middle school team. And then, at some point, he said, Daddy, you know what the problem was? My gloves are small. Oh, son. that's what we do. So my shoulder's sore from throwing the ball, right? Because your gloves are small. But he recovered. He failed forward. That's what I talk to them about. I'm like, yeah, you're going to have bad days. You're going to have off moments. Who cares? Have a short memory. Get back on the horse and do what you're supposed to do. I succeed because I keep getting up and I learn from my mistakes. Number 7 commandment. Invest money in yourself in the future you don't know exists yet. I'm going to say that again. Invest money in yourself and the future you don't know that exists yet. And then realize that the harder you work, that the harder you should play. I play hard, y'all. I work really, really hard. I work a lot of hours. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it to the youth. If you think you're going to work 20, 30 hours and be successful and make a lot of money, you're a fool of yourself. That is not how this world works. You will work and you will work hard. There are weeks where I work 80, 100 hours a week. I don't have to do that consistently, but there are times where I've done that. And consistently now, I work about 60 hours a week, if not more. I work a lot. But you know what, y'all? My family lives good. And I sleep good at night when I go to sleep. And I don't compromise my sleep either. But you will sacrifice. Realize, in order to get something, you have to sacrifice. So while some of my friends were out kicking it, doing whatever, I was studying. When they were out doing that, I was writing a paper. And where it typically takes people 15 years to be full professor, I did it in about 9. Like, you can speed up this cycle. You can do things that other people have not done. So work really hard and then play even harder. And when you get to play, do things that you truly enjoy. Trips, hobbies, cars. Dr. Lavelle Allen, raise your hand. Dr. Lavelle Allen is the chief of emergency radiology at Vanderbilt Hospital. Y'all should get it up. He's the first black chief of emergency radiology. He is a radiologist. Murfreesboro, born and bred. What kind of car? What is that? It's a what? It's a Grey. Oh, the Grey. Okay. The Grey. Yeah, okay. We go outside, look at the Grey. But he works really, really hard. And now he gets to play even harder. You have people in Murfreesboro who have made the sacrifices and done things and are now where you want to be. If you want to be a physician, first person you should talk to when we finish service today is Dr. Allen. Because he's going to talk to you about how to do it. If you want to be a teacher, first person you should talk to is Mr. Bean. You can talk to me too, right? But I learned from him. So you can talk to him. You want to go to grad school, you want to get your master's, PhD, come talk to me. We can talk about that. Number 8, I'm getting ready to close. Number 8 is, you got to find a spouse that upgrades you. That's the 8th commandment. See, if you're getting somebody to be in a relationship with and they're below you, see, you're messing yourself up. Because the person who is going to hold you accountable, set high expectations for you, and want you to be the best you can be is the person who lays in the bed beside you. Or when you're younger, it's the person who you text the most. If they not upgrading you, and they trying to get you in trouble, do things that your parents don't want you to do,
Amen.
y'all, they ain't for you. See, it's the reason why at the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Banquet, when I was in high school, I looked at the table behind me and I saw this girl and I was like, oh, she fine. And I asked my grandma, I said, Grandma, who was that? And you know, it's a Murphy girl, right? So my grandma, she loved it. She said, oh, that's Stanley Bush Randolph's daughter. That's Mary Ellen Chicken Davis' granddaughter. I said, She got up to go to the bathroom, use the phone or something. I showed her follow. Here we are, 17 years of marriage coming up next Sunday. So I knew I was like, but I'm gonna tell you, she was fine. Then I realized the character. I met her mama. And I looked at her mama. See, that's for you men, for you boys in here. That's what you do. I got taught, when you meet a girl, then you're going to meet a mama. And it's not just her judging you and interviewing you, you interviewing them. And when I met Mama Stella, I was like, yeah, this will be it right here. If I don't mess this up, based on how nice she is, how cordial she is, how she's raising her kids, all 3 of her kids are great. And I'm like, if I could have that for my family, then I'm winning in life. I just wanted to soak it up. Same thing with Thomas James and his parents. Like, I was like, two parents in this house. I want to know what that looks like. And when you find your spouse, and she or he want the same thing as you, then you can build something special. Now we start to build intergenerational type of wealth and longevity. Because that's what we build. I make no mistake about it. Number 9, accordingly, you gotta give people their flowers while they live. That's a new saying, right? Give people their flowers while they live. People die, we get up, and we do all this crying, which I did. I cry too. Ain't no wrong crying. Get up crying, falling all over stuff, knocking stuff over. I get all that. But sometimes what I realize, sometimes we're just that hurt, right? But oftentimes there are things that we left unsaid that we didn't get a chance to say to them before they passed away. So you got to give people their flowers while they're here, and accordingly, you got to take care of your mama. Right? You got to take care of your mama, you got to take care of your daddy. My mama has done things for me that people couldn't even imagine that they had done. And it sets a pathway for me to be my boy's father. Number 10, identify what values drive you, and then surround yourself with people who have similar values. This gets back to who you choose as your spouse or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, who you choose to surround yourself with. You literally are your network. You literally are your friends. If your friend's doing foolish stuff, eventually you're going to get caught doing foolish stuff too. And eventually people going to think you foolish. Like I had a group of friends that was into all kind of stuff, right? And to be frank with you all, some of them are incarcerated and some of them are not here anymore. Like just to be frank about that, right? And so you got to decide what you want to do because they will get you in trouble. They have the bag on them. But nowadays it's like prescription pills and gummies and candy. Like it's different stuff. They'll have some on them that could get you locked up. They could be doing something that they have no business doing. No business. They could have you no business. Yeah, that was a grandma right there. That was no business. Stay out of trouble, right? I mean, literally. And one thing I tell my boys, I'm telling you what I'm telling you because I've experienced it. And God has allowed me to not get in as much trouble for some of those things I did that I should have gotten in trouble for. God had his grace on me. The other thing I know, God will do this too. See, when God got his hand on you and he has a plan for you, your friends could do something and they could do it 5 times. They don't get in trouble, they don't get caught. You think about doing it and you get in trouble. I mean, you think about doing it. I remember when I was about, 10, 11, 12 years old, we were living in Atlanta. I had these friends. We were talking about this morning. I had these friends, and they would steal all the time. So I'm with them at the store, and I'm like, they stealing? I'm going to try and steal, right? And here I come. I don't steal, right? So I made so many fatal flaws, y'all. First, my mama told me that the clerk, when she called and said, I didn't think he did this because he didn't have no pockets. I tried to put what I was stealing in the front part of my pants, y'all. The front part of my pants. And then not only, it wasn't even something small either. It was the chocolate Debbie cakes. The chocolate cakes with the white spray. I was a chubby kid, y'all. I was fat kid. So I tried to steal these chocolate cakes. And I walked up. They ended up calling my mama. Now, at that time, my friend said, he was like, man, call my mama. They call my mama all the time. Nothing happened. Right? So I had this moment. But what my mama told me, she said, when you get in trouble, you call me. That's what I tell my boys. I'm like, when you get in trouble, you call me and your mama, boy. Like, we will get you out of this. Right? So I called my mama. She come up there. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble now. My mama let them call the police on me. Now, mind you, this was pre a lot of the stuff we know. This was when police officers, things were still pretty segregated. This was when police officers did community policing. They were really part of the community, come out and help me that way. So they come up, I see them over there talking to my mom. They come over, put handcuffs on me, put me in the car. Right? I remember this day like it's just, my mama had orchestrated all of this. So after a while, they let me out the car, let me come home. Who knows what my mama had to say to get me out of there. I go home, my mama makes me call everybody in my family. Everybody. My uncles, I had to call my uncles. I had to call Steve. Those were hard conversations. They told me how disappointed they were. I'm just in the room crying. Right? And then, of course, I was put on punishment for an extended period of time. Here goes the kicker, though. My mama kept them Debbie cakes until I graduated college. My friends are like nodding right now because they know they would come over to the house and be like, why them Debbie cakes on the top of the refrigerator? Dang, now I got to explain it to everybody. While I was younger than my boys, I got caught stealing some Debbie cakes because I was a chubby kid. Right? But she kept it. And then when I graduated college, I got into grad school. Indiana University, I was getting a full ride there. Then I went to Indiana, I went to University of California, Berkeley, did a big postdoc, and then now been at University of Maryland and Brookings and American Institute for Research. And she said, all right, I think you can throw it away now. Y'all, I picked that Debbie cake up, it crumbled to dust. It had been there for so long. And then my mama said, she said, you know, see that cake, that just wasn't for you. That was for me to not get too comfortable. See, for those of us who had kids come up here, who doing good in school, see, we can't get too comfortable. Y'all know it takes one thing, particularly for black kids, for kids who have where maybe they have a disability, maybe they have something else where people talk about, it takes one instant to all of a sudden knock them off of a path you have helped put them on. And they can't always see those things that you can see. So, you gotta identify those values, surround people with yourself. For me, I'm hard working. I'm all about time management. My boys know we're gonna be the first people there. Like first people there, they'd be like, dang, why we always first people there? But now they realize this is what we do. First people there. I listen, I'm authentic, I'm loyal, I'm humble, I'm resilient. I get up quicker than other people, I bounce back, I move faster, I'm a chameleon and I can adapt. Those are my qualities, some of which are just me, some of which I have acquired and worked hard on, and then I put other people around me to do that. And as I get older, I realize that I need people who can keep up with me but have complementary skills. So be conscious of who you allow in your personal and professional spaces. Number 11 commandment, and I'm done. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. See, I always bet on myself, and I'm betting on you too. If you got up here because you 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, I'm betting on you. And I leave you with one challenge. See, research documents, one of the reasons why I had y'all do that dreaming exercise, is research documents that poor kids actually stop dreaming quicker than wealthier kids. Why would that be? It has to do with two things. It has to do with what's called allostatic load and our telomeres. Allostatic load is the level of stress that your body can actually experience. The research documents that oftentimes the poorer you are, the harder your life is early on in life, your allostatic load levels get higher because you just have grit to handle that. The stuff you see in your house, outside your house, all of those turmoils. But then your telomere lengths get shorter. Your telomeres are attached to your cells. It suggests how long you're going to live. The research documents that poor kids living in low-income communities have the telomere length that's short like an elderly person. So my challenge to you is to not stop dreaming. It's to continue to dream. Because geniuses lose their ability to be innovative. And one thing I know is a whole bunch of poor black geniuses around. We see them all day long. I don't know about you, but I've been riding down the street through the hood in D.C. somewhere, and I'm like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Right? But it's just some random person doing something on the street because he needed to figure out how to get his clothes as a homeless person from one place to the next place. And then somebody else sees it, and they take his idea, and that ain't making money off of him. Never paying for it. So as long as marginalized kids can't dream, we must continue to fight for equality. For people in this room fighting for equality and equity means becoming successful and then creating spaces for other people and ensuring that little geniuses can then come after you and dream. It means even if you move and you live far away, you can come back and talk to people about what you've done. So accordingly, I'll leave you with one last quote from one of my favorite poets and orators, Jay-Z. Jay-Z said, Rosa Parks sat so Martin Luther could walk. Martin Luther walked so Barack Obama could run. Obama ran so you could fly. So open up your wings and I'm going to meet you in the sky. Thank you for your time. On June 9th, you can go ahead. Would you do us the honor of opening that up as I'm talking? On June 9th, 2024, on behalf of the City Council of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and particularly City Councilwoman Madeline Scales, I present to you Steve Bingham, a key to the city. June 9th, I think y'all would all agree this is long overdue.